So in this video we're just going to make a quick little makeshift incubator which will work 100%. I've done it quite a few times and it's a nice cheap method. Reason we're going through doing this now is because we've got a snake that just laid eggs, and you can take a quick look over here. There's our incubator at the moment. This is set at 28.5 degrees. And that's for most of our corn snake, king snake, and a couple cobra eggs that we've got going at the moment. Now we've got a python that laid eggs and we need to incubate those at about 32 degrees. So this is why we're making this unit here quickly. So this is just a styrofoam box that I got from a plastic shop. We're going to be putting the eggs inside this box. Got a few little ventilation holes, because obviously the eggs do breathe through the shell and everything like that, so they need fresh air. And also, I mean, some people keep the eggs in a container like this that is totally air sealed, and they'll just open it up and air it every few days. I always go with a few ventilation holes. I don't have to bother the eggs at all. Also, if you don't have good enough ventilation, you start getting mildews and mold and things like that. So now healthy eggs can fight off mold and things without too much issue, but it's much easier if there's a couple air holes there. So these two heat pads we're going to be fitting in here. This is going to be our heat source. These heat pads, these are made in South Africa. It's for underfloor heating, but these ones are made for the pet trade. They look quite horrid maybe for the average person who's using all the other brands or stuff, but they actually work extremely well and they're very safe as well. And also they can get quite wet without having problems or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stick this one in here. Now I wouldn't recommend sticking them until you've actually tested that the whole system works well. Because if you put something with a fairly high wattage, okay, with a certain thermostat, it'll turn the power on and you might overshoot, because some can heat up pretty quickly. So these heat pads that I'm fitting are the 14 watt, so they don't get too hot, although it depends how you rig up a heat pad as to how hot it's going to get. Now the reason I've stuck it more to this side, not in the middle, is because the eggs are going to sit here, right in the middle. Okay, so I want a sort of airspace, and I mean hot air, cool air is going to find exchanging points. Okay, so you're going to get like almost like a little natural flow of air, and then we're going to make little air holes in this unit as well. Okay, so I've already rigged up these heat pads to a plug, and that's just to save time, because otherwise this video is going to be very long and pretty boring. Okay, so we're going to fit this one just to the side here. Okay. So you'll see these heat pads have got little steel pin points that we put in just a block connector, or chocolate block some people call them, and we've linked both the heat pads to the one plug. Alright, which is going to plug into our thermostat, which is this unit over here. Okay, these units are the best thing I've ever come across. I use them for most of my reptiles. Had them going in the reptile park for a good couple of years. So it's a day-night temperature thermostat. So rather than turning it on and off all the time, it actually increases the power very slowly. So it's going to give heat to this box nice and steadily, which is very good for something that's going to be pinpoint accurate. So once it gets to the sort of temperature, then it will start to dim down and it'll maintain it nice and accurately. Now I've got a lot of these units running, and they often run within 0.1 of a degree to the temperature you're setting, either 1 up or 0.1 down. So extremely accurate unit. It's also got a timer for timing things, but I mean obviously in this sort of thing we're just going with the temperature, and we're going to set the day and the night temperature to the same. Whereas you could do a slight drop, you might actually get quite nice hardy healthy babies. but we're just going to incubate them at the recommended temperature there. So here's the probe, and this is what tells you how hot it is inside the box. Okay, so we're just going to put that aside for now. Now obviously with this on top here, I'm not going to see the eggs or anything like that, and I quite like, obviously with the incubator you saw now, it's a Coke fridge, you can see through it, and all the containers you can see through, so if there's anything that hatches early we can easily see that. So I'm going to make a little window over here, and you can probably use a serrated knife, but even a nice sharp blade doesn't cut so neatly, so what I'm actually going to do is just use a soldering iron and see if we can make a nice clean hole. Sure, it's quite thick. Alright, it's not letting off too much smoke or anything, and this is also what I use to make the little holes in the plastic tub, because it makes a nice neat hole. I used to drill holes and everything like that, and it comes out alright, but sometimes certain containers can crack. But I think this is going to give me the best sort of cut line that I can get. Okay, you also get some fancy like hot knives and stuff like that, but fortunately I haven't seen them anywhere available in South Africa, because a lot of people also use styrofoam for working with or making backgrounds and things like that, and then coating it with cement and so on. So it's actually quite nice to have hot knives and things like that, but I still haven't seen anything. Probably have to import something or go to a specialty shop that deals with stuff like that. Okay, yeah, so this little window I'm making is going to make it very easy for me just to check on the eggs, and for the staff as well, so we don't have to open the box at all. And I'm going to make just a few ventilation holes as well in the box, just to allow for the airflow so it doesn't sort of stagnate. Now with the setup like this, what you can also do is, if you get a fish tank heater, you fill the bottom with water to submerge the fish tank heater, and you set obviously the fish tank heater to the exact temperature that you want, with the container in contact with the water, maybe even up the sides a little bit. So then what you'll be doing is heating that water, and the thermostat in the fish tank heater will control it so that the water temperature is just right, and because the water is in contact with the container, you get the perfect temperature coming through. Okay, but I prefer using a accurate unit like I've got here. So as I say, you can use any sort of normal thermostat. Just don't fit the heating until you've tested it that it works nicely, because sometimes it can overshoot quite a lot. Like you apply a little bit of power to a heating device, the temperature climbs rapidly, and then it overshoots and you start getting this high fluctuation in temperature, which is what you don't want. So with a thermostat, I know it's going to be 100%. Otherwise you need to go with just a nice gentle minimal sort of heating. So with a box like this, I could have maybe gone with a little 9-watt heat pad, and a normal thermostat would have maybe worked better. Okay, so we've got our little hole where we're going to make our window, and I've just got these little off-cut pieces of perspex. They come from another little cage or little fornarium. It's a divider, we don't use them, so finally finding a use for them now. And stuck double-sided tape all the way around it. So we're just gonna stick this straight on there. You can use something like super glue or whatever. Certain adhesives might eat right through the styrofoam, so you just got to check that you don't use something incorrect like that. But double-sided tape is super strong. It's not going to let off any harmful smells, because as I say, we're going to put eggs in here like right now. So that's stuck there nice and fuss. Just maybe want to clean the window a little bit. Not going to work too well. Okay, it's going to be fine. And then we're putting on another window. The reason we're doing this is to keep the insulation properties of this enclosure very good. So with this airspace, it works as an insulator just the same as the foam would. So you get a lot of like houses in very cold areas which will have this, and then obviously something like the Coke fridge, it's got double panes with that airspace. Very good insulating properties in this way. Cool, so there we go, nice and easy just to have a little look-see. Oh, no one's hatching yet. Don't have to open and close every time. And the thing is, if this was a solid unit, I'd have to open this, and if this was a tub that you can't see into, I have to open this as well, and you keep rattling and disturbing things. Not that it'll be harmful for the animals, just a little bit of a pain. So this makes for a nice easy checking. Alright, now with these wires here, I want to maybe just burn a line through there so that wire could sit there, and these wires are not going to get hot enough to do any damage to the box. And the same with fitting these in an enclosure. You also want to make two separate holes. You don't want to squash two heat cables together. They start getting very hot, they start actually melting to one another, and that's why they also laid out in this pattern, never touching. Okay, so that's very important when fitting a heat pad or something like this in your enclosure. Okay, that one's going to go there, this one there. Okay, so we can always just hold those there and then maybe tape them down if they get in the way of it. I think it'll be easy enough just to close it up. Alright, and then we're just going to go with small ventilation holes. We're not going to need too many. Just maybe do it in these areas. And this is going to cause a nice flow of air through here. Okay, I don't even know if I came out the other side. Yes, I did. Okay, just enough air to support life of the eggs. Alright, so now it's time for the box. And what I want to do, you can see it's got little raised feet, but I mean it's not anything too high or whatever. But if you got like a bigger box and you put the container on bricks with your fish heater and then the water up the side of the container to heat everything. But here what I'm going to do is just pour a bit of water in here, so if the evaporation from the eggs and it's escaping slowly, there's enough humidity in the air to come in and sort of replace it. You don't want the lid of an incubation container getting quite cold, because what's going to happen is water is going to condense on the coolest point and then it's going to start dripping. So you don't want it to sort of drip onto the eggs and things like that. But I mean, with this container, it's going to be the same temperature all around. They might be dripping on top of this, but otherwise it shouldn't really be a problem. But with a fish tank heater, you're going to experience a lot more evaporation and things, so you can have condensing water in places. Okay, so now just to add the incubation medium. Whoa, that's quite a bit. Okay, so that's perlite, which is like this little white stones. They're very aerated. This feels almost like little polystyrene balls. It weighs almost nothing. And then this one here is vermiculite, very coarse vermiculite at that. Okay. And then I like to do this sort of 50-50 mix. Some people also use, I think what it's called is like egg crate. In refrigeration places, they use it to protect lights and stuff. It's like a plastic grid. They can put that over that. The eggs don't need to be in contact with this, they just need to experience enough humidity and temperature to hatch. Okay, so we're going to add some water to this. What you can also do if you're not in a rush, I'm in a bit of a rush to get this unit up and running, is you can actually use boiling water, pour it over and that also will sort of help sterilize it, although this stuff is pretty sterile to start with. And then for most pythons, I'd say you can pour as much water as the perlite and vermiculite can hold, and just drain the rest. You don't want it to be like a soggy marsh or anything like that. Okay, so that actually just feels just right to me. Some people also, you know, weigh the container and then with the eggs in it and everything to see how much water they're losing and add on to it. I've never tried that. I just add a bit of water if it feels a bit dry. Eggs are actually pretty hardy. They don't just die for nothing. Okay. Alright, so we're just gonna get that all out to the sides, and then we can plug in the thermostat. This rattlesnake's going crazy at us here. Okay. Alright, so here is the unit. We're just going to set it quickly. I normally like to set it to about 31.5 degrees. 5. Okay, the nighttime temperature we're going to set to the same. And then I don't really have to bother with a clock or anything because there's no need for a timer. The temperature is going to be same day and night. Okay, set. Okay, that's just the alarm because the temperature is not right. Now we're going to need to fit the probe. So while this is still hot, let's just make a hole in here. Do it from the other side as well. Okay, that's a big enough hole. That'll also be a little bit of ventilation. And pop the probe right through there. Okay, so once we got the lid on, the probe is going to sit hanging in the air over here, and that should give us a nice accurate temperature reading. Alright, so we're just about ready to get the eggs from the female, and then we can pop them in here. Awesome. Okay, so I just checked on the female blood python and she's got eggs for us, so we're going to get them out. She was a display animal, so we separated her and placed her here so she's got a nice quiet time and she can lay her eggs. Alright, so there she is. She's made a nice mess of her little hide box. We get a lot of these boxes we use as temporary hides for them. I actually want to see if I can get her out of here. No, she's torn the box. So we'll maybe just work with her here. You can see nicely, Donnie?
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, so this is the yellow form of a blood python, better known as short-tailed pythons. This is a Malaysian short-tail. And their scientific name is Python brongus may. They were Python Curtis brongus may, but they've been separated. And you can see she's busy twitching and wrapped around those eggs nice and tight. So a lot of pythons will do this whole twitching thing. They actually generate a little bit of warmth through their bodies with muscle vibrations and things to keep those eggs nice and warm. Now she could possibly hatch her eggs if we left her in here like this, but you know, the eggs are going to stand a much better chance if we actually take them away and incubate them. So we want each little baby to have a chance at life, and this is the reason why a lot of time pythons can also lay so many eggs, because not all of them are going to make it out hatching firstly, and then obviously predation out there in the wild. So as I say, this is the yellow form. Normally you get the nice darker reds and things like that, and they used to get quite a bad rap, that the blood pythons, you know, they get their name because they're going to draw blood and what have you, quite nippy snakes. But a lot of them are actually really awesome snakes, very chilled. And we're going to see how this female is. This is the time when a snake should be most defensive, trying to guard her eggs and everything like that. I'm sure you guys have seen other videos of guys taking eggs from reticulated pythons and how they go crazy and everything. So this female, she's really good. She's not much of a problem. I don't think she's going to do anything to us. So I'm just going to gently work her off. I mean, this blood, I can pop her around my neck. She's not really a problem. Alright, come on, girl. Oh, she's strong. She's holding on tight though. Alright. Oh. She doesn't want to let them eggs go. Come on, girl. Okay, we're going to try and keep them in the position that they're found. I mean, she's not doing anything. She's a wonderful snake. Most of my blood pythons are alright. There's a little bit of a hiss from her. You can see she's very empty now, not looking as fat as usual. Okay, so girl, you're just going to lie over there. I'm going to get the box ready. Okay. This is a very nice bunch of eggs, girl. Thank you so much. And you can see they all stuck together. Now the reason these eggs stick together is because if a reptile egg rolls over once it's sort of the embryo is set to the wall of the egg, they'll actually drown. Okay, so we're just going to close up here. What we're going to do is we'll remove that nest box because the smell of her eggs and everything's on there. So if we remove that, then there won't be so much of the egg smell anymore, and she'll get onto eating and put on her weight a lot better. Okay, so here's a whole bunch of eggs, and obviously you can see underneath there's a whole lot as well. So what we actually need to do is to separate them, because the ones right at the bottom, if they're not able to breathe, they're suffocated by other eggs, and as well as the vermiculite and the moisture, a lot of the time they can go bad. They don't get enough oxygen exchange and gas exchanges. Okay, so we can just work these eggs apart. It looks a bit crazy. I always feel a bit funny doing it, but you see they just tear a little bit like that, but normally you get 100% success rate even with separating the whole bunch like this. So most of the breeders will do this. So I just want to work it nice and gently. My hands are nice and clean, just washed my hands. Obviously I don't want to put any sort of bacteria or anything to introduce it here. Okay, so we just want to see, I mean look, there's eggs like right underneath the second layer. So there's 3 layers of eggs going on here. These eggs are nice and tough, much tougher than the cobra eggs and stuff we got recently. My word, these are so stuck to one another, it's ridiculous. Okay, and then always want to make sure you're keeping them in the same position. Alright, so this one's also going to be pretty close to the lid. I'm only going to separate enough so that they can actually have enough air around them. I'm not going to separate every single one. And then also when all the eggs are touching like this, they also share the temperature much better. So if these eggs on the outside are getting a lot warmer from mom, because they're in contact with the other eggs, the temperature is obviously going to go all the way through. So that's another reason why they're all stuck together like this. Alright, I think maybe just this. This is not the biggest container, but it'll work. I mean, you see how mom was wrapped around them, so they got a little more space in here anyway. Okay. Pop that one over there. Okay, so now at least these 2 eggs here can breathe nicely. I can maybe just remove this one as well. Some of them coming off a bit easier. Pop that over there. And then maybe this one we can just pop next to there. And then I'd say that's perfect. Oh, extremely tough, leathery eggs these. Okay, so we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. That's a good sized clutch. Okay, so we'll see in a bit of time we can hatch all of these. The nice thing about these as well is they get a lot of babies with this sort of striping. It's not genetic stripe. We're just breeding them for this sort of striped patterning. Okay, so we can get this to the incubator, which is warming up now. Alright, so I mean it's been just a little bit of time and the temperature was about 25 degrees. And you can see it is slowly and steadily climbing. So the eggs can go in now and the temperature can obviously get all through, get set right. Okay, so we're just going to pop that over there quickly. Oh, makes quite a nice seal, these boxes. Okay. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pour some water in here, just so that the humidity level is right. Okay, because the perlite and vermiculite here is going to take moisture from the air as well, as are the eggs. So this should work very nicely. Okay, in contact with the water is also going to help with temperature distribution. And we're going to see how things go with these babies. There we go, and you can see perfectly, nice little viewing porthole. You can see in there just fine. Okay. Alright, now the time to be patient and wait for them. Alright guys, so that time has arrived. It's 67 days later. I actually didn't do a marker or anything, but the nice thing with having the clear lid is I can actually see there's a little head sticking over there. So we're going to open up and see what we've got. Alright, I've probably only opened this incubator 2 to maybe 3 times, just to check water levels and things are okay, and just to give a little bit of an airing. I think the temperature kind of overshot a little bit because we did have power outages. So here you can see most of the babies are starting to pup. And the ones that are not open, we're gonna make little windows for them because we don't want them to drown. We made a video of our ball pythons recently and we had one that actually suffocated inside the egg. It was a perfectly formed, healthy looking baby. They can potentially lose the egg tooth, which helps them for cutting open the eggs. So if we make a little window, we at least guarantee check here. This little dude's like popping out now. Very cool to see. You can see this one here sliced through a lot of blood vessels and everything. And he's done that on his own. This little guy's feeling a little bit shy and he's a bit stuck. So they can also get stuck like this a little bit. So I want to give them the opportunity to sort of free him up a little bit, and this one almost look like they're being strangled a little bit. So you never know if something like this could be fatal. If he can't go back and he can't come, well, I'm sure he could come out though, because I mean the head's the biggest part, although blood pythons are pretty fat snakes. So you never know, you could lose a snake like that as well. So we'll just open that up to give them a little more space and everything. So when we cut their eggs, we might see a whole lot of blood, but like this one, they slice through their own blood vessels, which is not a problem. This blade is extremely sharp, much sharper than other blades I've used. It's sliding through here very, very easily. Okay, so here's a little look there, a little bit discolor on the white, but that's a nice big window for that one to get out. Okay, so as you can see, the incubation went extremely well. I mean, there's 100% of the eggs are still all good, no mold or anything like that. You can see all the blood vessels there. I did a good job of slicing that one. I barely cut through the sac. So you can see the sac on the inside. Now your snakes that give live birth, like your boas and things like that, that's how those babies come out, with this membrane bag. Obviously the shell part is to protect these eggs because they're outside of the body, whereas your boas and vipers and adders and a lot of reptiles that give birth to live young, they're protected within the female, so they just have that. So these blood vessels feed oxygen to the baby, so the egg can breathe, whereas with your snakes, obviously there's oxygen in their blood, so they feed through their blood into the babies. And that's why, like on my video of my albino gaboons, when they were hatching, well, when we operated and everything, the babies were actually gassed because we gassed the mother. So she fed the gas medicine and that through the veins as well. So it's quite interesting how these things work. Okay. Alright. Nice little windows. So yeah, I mean, this incubator worked extremely well. I mean, we also ended up getting some ball python eggs which we popped in here. I did lose one ball python egg, but I mean, that's probably because there's something wrong with the development of the baby inside or something. Oh, that's cool. There's little oh, twins! Check that out! I haven't had twin bloods before. That is awesome. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? That is super cool. There was one head on top of the other. That is a really cool surprise. So we got quite a lot of blood pythons now. One extra. You never know, there could be more in a clutch. I've seen people who have clutches with triplets and twins in it. Either that or we got a two-headed blood python. How cool would that be? Nah, that would probably be a problematic animal anyway. That's very cool. That is going to make for some nice photos later. Get a little photo session of them. Okay. But yeah, this incubation medium works extremely well. I've got some black blood eggs which should also be hatching fairly soon, but I've lost a couple. And I only used vermiculite. I might have made it a bit too wet. That's why I like the vermiculite perlite mix. I find that works the best. But how cool, what an awesome surprise to get some twins there. Okay, now I see with this one, see, here's another, would have been a set of twins. There's a very small baby and a massive yolk here. So that's one baby, that was meant to be another twin. That's actually hard. Either that or we got a severely deformed baby in here. But sometimes you can have it where the one develops but the sibling doesn't. Oh wow, this is interesting. This one I think has passed away early, before the color and everything developed. Yeah, so something went wrong here. Alright, well that does happen. Okay, so that's nothing to do with really the incubator itself. That's just little problems within that egg probably, with the twins and so on. It's so funny, I've bred these same snakes so many times. I've never ever had twins. Same mother and father that I imported, sure, many years ago now. Okay, there's a nice one. So it's actually quite interesting to get twins like all of a sudden. You know, you think like twins is a sort of genetic trait like in family lines and stuff like that. And I swear this pair I must have bred probably over 100 ball pythons from this pairing. So very interesting to actually see twins now. Okay, so these ones we're just going to open them up a little more. There we go. This one we still got to open up. I mean, I don't know what the chances are that one that has got that massive yolk or anything. It's very hard, so it's not like it's only starting developing, which would be very weird. It's like it's hibernating and it decided to start a bit later. I think that one died quite a while ago, and because it's in the egg they can get kind of mummified. Okay. It's going to be very cool to see what sort of nice striped babies we get, because the dad's got quite a lot of nice striping on him. You can see this one looked like it was struggling to get out. Slice marks all over the place. Okay, and some of you guys might be wondering, you know, with this blade being so sharp that I might actually cut a baby. Luckily, I've never actually cut a snake, and they're very, very sensitive, so as soon as they feel anything near them, they pull their bodies away as if they're live. And as I say, I'm working very delicately. Okay, well that's a nice big hole now for that one to get out. Okay, that one, he's got a nice big hole, plenty of air pocket in there for him to breathe. Okay, so I think we just need to help these little guys with a little bit of breathing room. Yeah, because that little guy can't get in or out there. And now with him being stuck there, he won't be able to move away, so I don't want to slice there, plus he's moving quite violently. Let's see if he can't get in. See, he's totally stuck. So it's very tricky as to how I'm going to open that up for him a little bit. Let me just open this one for this guy quickly. There we go. That one's got a lot more space now. Okay, so little dude, what are we going to do with you? I need some other kind of little tool. There we go. Oh, now he wants to actually come out. Don't worry, don't worry. I'm going to make a little... Okay, no, at least that one can get out now, so that's fine. Alright, cool, so we'll maybe just come and check on them when they're out. We can actually see what sort of patterning they've got on them. And we can sex them and house them and everything. Get it all done in one shot. Alright, so we're just going to take a look at this baby quickly and see what exactly happened here. And just pull this little one out. Okay, got some interesting, nice pattern. Okay, as you can see, the pattern color wasn't developed yet. So this one passed away fairly early on. Okay, I'm just gonna pop that there quickly. And then, oh, check here. Okay, so this, oh, gross. Here we go. See, this is the other baby, which is all deformed and everything. So this probably passed away early on, and it went bad, which then affected the twin. Okay, that's quite interesting though. You see that? That's just like a ball of mess. Oh, it's like a miniature little baby developing inside out almost. Right. Well, that's just an interesting look at some things that can go wrong in the egg. Alright, so we've got quite a lot of the babies are out. It's just the next day. We're going to try and get them out. Probably going to get bitten here or there. You can see nice fat healthy babies. Belly's all closed up well, I'm sure. That's going to bite me now. Maybe. Can't see. Where's your belly button? Oh, they're so well healed up you can barely even see their belly button. So incubation went very well. So we're going to take these ones out just to give them a little bath, get rid of some of this egg slime. Are you bringing your sibling with you? And then we're going to house them in their enclosures. So we're going to, oh, that one's doing flick flacks. The blood pythons love doing biting flick flacks. Oh, that one's also trying to bite its sibling. Don't bite your sibling. So obviously when they're young they can be pretty nippy and all that. They are scared, they're trying to protect themselves. Yeah, that one's, well, okay, it is still in the egg, but it looks like it wants to come out. Yep, perfect. There's not even any residual anything in there. So they are all pretty much ready to come out, but we'll leave the other ones for when they want to come out. This one is breathing pretty quick. Alright, alright. Very cool. A little bit darker than what I usually get, and it's from the same parents. But we'll see how they look after their shed and everything. So we'll just like put the empty eggs aside, we'll take them out, and then just want to show you guys the twins. They're chilling there nicely. They were sitting so nice together, you could actually see both their heads earlier. There's the other one there. That's very, very cool. Yeah, so I think by tomorrow we should have pretty much all of them climbing out of the egg. There we go. Cool, so we'll leave these ones. The others were just trying to get out of the container the whole time, so I figured let me just get them out, house them so long. And then these ones should be ready tomorrow. Alright, so now it's 2 days since the blood pythons have started cutting their eggs and everything. A lot of them have come out, so I think we're actually going to just get the rest of them out now. This little one looks like he's going to bite me now. Yeah, it's alright. Luckily their aim is not too good yet. Okay, so we're just going to put them in this tub with a little bit of water. They can have a little swim around. They're going to freak out a little bit, but there we go, he's sitting fine. Okay, some nice dot dash markings on that one. Right, so they freak out a little bit when they go in, and then they settle quite nicely. This is the one that looks quite like Dad. You can see the sort of striping that branches off a little bit. These two are locked up. Alright, there you go, little guys. Yeah, no, oh, it's freaky, it's weird. It's alright. Yeah, this one's also got some nice striping on it. It's a really pretty snake. And some of them are quite nice and chilled, so hopefully we'll have some really chilled little ones. Okay, I see one of the twins is out and about. This one doesn't want to leave. We can just have a look. There's the other twin over there. You can see by the size of them. So quite nice patterning on this one. Twins are very chilled, I think. They're not too bothered. So you can see much smaller than the other ones. Okay, little guys, we're going to lower you in. There we go, have your little bath, get rid of all that sloppy egg. We'll rinse that egg white off. Oh, gross. And this is getting a little bit smelly now. Come on, a little slow riser, I'm sure you're ready to come out now. There we go. Ugh, little shy guys. Oh, gross. That is gross. Okay, so we'll pop that one in there. It's just the thermostat going off because the probe is sitting in mid-air, letting us know that the temperature is a bit low. This one over here has got a really nice pattern on it as well. So they are all quite different. Like a unique little fingerprint on each one. Alright, come on. So they actually settle quite nicely once they're in the water. Okay, so those are empty. It's got one here. Come on, little guy. It's time to come out. There we go. So hopefully, see, nice and chilled now, but give them a day or two, and then they're going to be quite defensive. Oh, that's cool. Alright. Whoa, this one's got nice stripes. Wow. Oh. This is the only time snakes are really slimy. Otherwise they're just smooth. Not wet and slimy. That's a beaut. That's quite a nice stripe. Very nice. Alright, there's one more. Come on, old buddy. Oh, I wasn't in a hurry to get out there now. Very, very cool. Nice big fat healthy babies. There's not even, I mean, as I said earlier in the video, can barely even see the belly button, so incubation was absolutely perfect on these. Okay, so there we see, that pretty much concludes the video. I hope this helped quite a few of you guys in making a handy incubator, nice, quick and easy, and as we can see it works 100%. So obviously having something like a thermostat is great, but any good thermostat will do the job as well. Oh, this alarm keeps going off. It's playing in between the temperatures now. Alright, cool. So I hope you guys like, subscribe. There's going to be a lot more content coming. Lots of stuff hatching at the moment. We've got more eggs and snakes we're going to film right now.